None bigger than probably some of these reunions we got with guys like Scott Frost. But we're going to start off, Joe, with Rich Rodriguez. The people of West Virginia love me. So here we go. Let's talk about Rich Rod in West Virginia in year one.
I completely forgot about Scott Frost, by the way. That's going to be a fun one to do. I love doing this segment because it's always been a fun way to kind of reintroduce ourselves to guys that are stepping into new situations. To be really quickly frank about this, I don't think West Virginia is going to be very good this upcoming year. I really don't think that they're going to be very competitive in year one. What? Okay. They lost their best player, Wyatt Milam, to the draft, who was a tremendous offensive lineman. They have the 57th ranked portal class. They lost 22 guys. They added 27. Our lads projects that they will have 13 portal starters. 3 of them are on their offensive line. At quarterback, it's projected that Jalen Henderson is going to be their starter, who's transferring from Texas A&M. I just have a lot of pause looking at how much turnover this team has. And I know a lot of people, it's very quick, Blake, to do the whole, hey, look at what Kurt Cignetti just did. Look at all the portal guys that he just brought in. He brought in a bunch of guys with him from his former team. I don't think that West Virginia has Indiana-type momentum written all over them. They don't feel like that to me. This feels like a multi-year project that is going to take some time before it continues and returns to a competitive level of play.
I fully agree with you there. They're going to have to rebuild this and very, moderately quickly. Look, the big thing with West Virginia, too, outside of how bad Garrett Green was and how bad they were at quarterback, and even though everybody yelled at me and talked about my children and all that, here's also the truth. You got absolutely abused on the line of scrimmage. That takes time. You can't do that in a portal hall. You can't do that in an offseason, not to where that you want to go. Look, the argument from West Virginia fans when they got onto me about Garrett Green was that he didn't have the time. Well, that doesn't get changed in offseason. Now, philosophies will change. Listen, Rich Rod, for me, Joe, don't go so bad. Like, try to be right at or above 500. I have zero expectations for them in year one. Zero. You got to let the man cook. You got to let the man build. You're right. There's a lot of turnover in West Virginia. And I know that they're yearning for a champion here. You're going to have to be very patient. Rich Rod will get you there, but you got to be patient and let this man build. And, by the way, here's another thing. You got to fund him through NIL. The rebuild is not his and his alone. The game has changed. So I think that that's a vital point that needs to be thrown in there.
One thing I will say that's really interesting, and I brought up Kurt Cignetti because that's going to be an example that's going to be tried to be pushed by a lot of people, not just West Virginia fans, when talking about this team for this upcoming year. They brought in a lot of G5 guys. That is a very volatile way to build a roster. It is not a clear indicator just because there was one successful example that you're going to hit the ground running. They're playing in a conference that does allow for them to have a lot of coin flip close games as long as they're in it. But I just don't see, looking at this team, pulling guys from Akron and bringing as many guys as they did from Jacksonville State. And guys like, I'm seeing players coming in from Eastern Michigan and Wyoming and South Alabama and UTSA. There aren't enough premier players currently for them to be in that immediate top of the line, hit the ground running first year type of a spot. They crashed and burned really quickly last year.
Yes.
There's a reason for that, for what you just talked about. The slow buildup is what needs to be given to them. They need to be given the time and the patience and the grace in order to slowly improve year over year. The biggest thing that they have in their back pocket right now is Pat McAfee. They have got him pledging money towards that university. And on top of this, Blake, I think that he's going to market the shit out of him. I mean, it's his former coach. There's Pat White's joining the coaching staff. He's going to do whatever he can to prop up this team. I think that could create some desirability in recruiting, but this is going to be a multi-year process. To quickly bring up their schedule, in conference, this is who they have to face: Utah, Colorado, Arizona State, Texas Tech, Pitt's not in conference, Kansas, BYU, UCF, TCU, and Houston. Kind of a tough stretch.
Again, I'll just say it again. I have zero expectations. I mean, look, you got to monitor them at a 30,000-foot view or a 10,000-foot view, just in the sense of saying, where are they at right now going into year one? Where can they go? I mean, listen, I love that Pat McAfee is behind them. That's awesome. It does get the publicity out there about them. It makes it cool. West Virginia was cool when they had Steve Slayton. They had Pat White. It was cool to run that offense and to do what they were doing. They can bring some of that back. Again, it doesn't start and end with Pat McAfee. For an example, Texas Tech went out there and spent a lot of money. A lot of money. It's not going to stop. Texas Tech got old dudes too. That's who you competed with in the portal and who you're going to be competing with recruiting. What I bring that up just to say, like, listen, you're going to have to start hitting the ground now from an NIL perspective and just let him build. Like, you should go, if you're a West Virginia fan, I am warning you, you should go into the season with zero expectations. Have the most fun that you can. Love this team. Because, listen, could you do Kirk Cignetti? Sure. Again, as Joe said, it is an outlier. It 1,000% is an outlier. You don't see it like that every day. I mean, the only guy that I remember that came in and turned a team around from a losing season to undefeated was Urban Meyer at Ohio State. This isn't Ohio State. No. This is NIL portal. There's a whole lot more going on here. We'll see, man. We'll see. I love the hire, though. I do love that Rich Rod is back. I